Welcome to another episode in our prediction series. This time we have identified three stocks instead of the usual two. Counter trend trading opportunities on India Cements and Jubilant Foodworks, and a trend continuation trade on Grasim Industries. Okay, so let's begin with India Cements. India Cements is in a downtrend, making lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs. Okay, however, most recently the stock price is showing signs of tiring on its way to the downside. Over here, the stock is showing signs of tiring on its way to the downside. These push downs are getting smaller and smaller, with comparatively lesser volumes on down days. As you could see here, the green candles or the green volume candles are much bigger in comparison to that of the red volume candles. That, combining with the smaller size of the push downs, makes us understand the price or the stock price is showing signs of tiring. So this price action has given us a counter trend trading opportunity. So what is our requirement in a counter trend trading opportunity? We need to have three lower lows with RSI diverging at the same time, possibly on the 4-hour chart as well as on the daily chart. On a 4-hour chart, we have these three lower lows, and when we take a look at the RSI, it's diverging. RSI is diverging. Okay, similarly, on a daily chart, we have these three lower lows and the RSI is still diverging. Okay, so we have our counter trend trade setup complete. Next question is where to enter the trade. Let me switch back to a 4-hour chart. Okay, so for us to enter a trade, we need a convincing higher high from the most recent low. A convincing higher high from the most recent low should be good enough for us to initiate our trade. So do we have a convincing higher high? This looks like a convincing higher high. Okay, so we have our convincing higher high, and our trade has to be placed on the very next candle, on the opening of the very next candle, which means our trade has to be placed somewhere here on the opening of the very next candle. Okay, so we have our trade setup in place. We understood where to enter our trade. Next, let's see where to place our targets and our stop loss. Our target has to be this level of immediate resistance. That is our first target, and there is a very good possibility it could even go up into this level. Okay, but for the time being, this is our target. This level of immediate resistance is our target. Let me change the color of resistance into red. Okay, and our stop loss has to be placed somewhere below this minor level of support. Means our stop loss has to be placed somewhere here, and our target should be this level. Let us now pick our target placement tool and mark our targets, or mark our target and our stop loss. Okay, so it looks like this. This should be our target area, and this should be our stop loss area. Okay, so let's see how this trade plays out in the next few trading sessions. Our next opportunity is on Grasim Industries. Grasim Industries is in a steady downtrend with prices pushing down on comparatively higher average volumes. Okay, so now let's directly look at the shorting opportunity we have in this counter. Focus your attention on this portion here. Focus your attention on this portion here. Okay, a new down leg began here. Prices broke through the strong level of support and has now retraced back into that level of resistance area which was earlier support. Okay, there are three potential zones from where the prices could reverse. The first potential zone or area is this level of resistance, the second one is this, and the third one is this. So let's begin with this as our resistance zone from where we get a strong bearish candle. In that case, our targets would be this would be our confluence area, this would be our decompletion point, and this is our minor level of resistance. However, since this is a big zone, let's avoid this decompletion point and place our target area as this. If we are to get a strong bearish candle from this resistance level. Okay, now if we are to get a strong bearish candle from this resistance level or this minor resistance level, let's see where our targets would be. Take a clone, place it here, approximately here. Let's see if we have any confluence. we have a confluence here, and our decompletion point in this case is this point. So if we are to get a strong bearish candle from this minor level of resistance, this would be our target area. This would be our target area. From this level of resistance, this would be our target area. From this level of resistance, this would be our target area. And if the prices pushes higher and we are to get a strong bearish candle from this resistance level, this would be our target area where we take profits. Okay, so let's see how this trade works out in the next few trading sessions. The third and final one is Jubilant Foodworks. As could be seen from the charts, Jubilant Foods was in an uptrend. Jubilant Foods was in an uptrend. In fact, it was in a serious uptrend. However, most recently, look at this portion here. Most recently, the up moves has got shallower. These up moves has got shallower and shallower, which means the sellers are exerting pressure at each of these levels. Okay, now this is where our counter trend shorting opportunity lies. Let me show you how. Once again, the requirement is 3 higher highs with RSI divergence, possibly on the 4-hour chart as well as on the daily charts. Now let's analyze this on a 4-hour chart. We have 3 higher highs. We have 3 higher highs. Let me take this line off. So this is our first high, second high, and the third high. And when we look at the RSI, we could clearly see it's diverging. On the charts, while the prices are pushing upwards, on RSI, it is diverging. So there is a clear RSI divergence on the 4-hour chart. Now let's switch to a daily chart and see if we can have any divergence on the daily as well. On the daily charts, we have these 3 points which suggest there is 3 higher highs, whereas on the RSI, as you could see here, it is diverging. Once again, that suggests there is a clear RSI divergence on the daily charts as well. Okay, so that confirms our counter trend trade setup. Next is to understand where we need to enter our trades. For that, let me switch to an hourly time frame. On an hourly time frame, we had these 2 candle setup. We had these two candle setup which gave us a convincing lower low. This candle and this candle gave us two convincing lower lows for us. And we should have entered the trade on this next candle at the opening. That is where we should have entered into this trade. Okay, so we have our trade set up in place and we understood where we should have entered the trade. Finally, we should know where we should place our targets and keep our stop loss. Our first target would have been this level followed by this level or even this level. However, since this level is hit, our first target has to be this point for short-term traders, and this level for long-term traders, say for those who wish to hold the trade for a month or two. There is a very good chance Jubilant Foods can roll all the way down into this level of immediate support. But for short-term traders, this could be considered as a profit booking area, and for long-term traders, say for those who wish to hold the trade for a month or two, this area could be considered as a zone where profits has to be booked. Okay, so let's now pick our target placement tool and mark our target area and stop loss. Stop loss has to be placed just above the most recent high. This is our most recent high. Stop loss has to be placed just above that level, and this would be our first target, or this would be the target for short-term traders, whereas this would be our second target or target for long-term traders who wish to hold the trade, say for a month or two. Okay, so that's the analysis on Jubilant Foods. Let's now see how this trade plays out in the next few trading sessions.